could silence our cell phones, remove our hats, do the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, number 2 is consent of agenda, minutes of June 22nd, 2026, voucher and ELPs.
I'd like to amend that for public participation. And that would be when public participation starts. Citizen Tim stated the council meeting members should stop fighting, and it's not helpful. And but he did that after disparaging members of the council. And I'll give you all this stuff. I'll send you this stuff. And the other thing was Citizen Amy stated Councilman Sawyer insulted the mayor and can't have it both ways, and that Sawyer spoke to her and said Sawyer thanked her and Citizen Amy for Amy's comment and disagreed. And then there's one more thing, and that is after Councilman Hanson made a motion to not have an executive session, and Sawyer said no. He asked the city attorney to advise, and the attorney advised them to go into session, but that was dismissed by the council. And so I can send you that if you'd like.
Please.
Yes. So I make a motion that we accept the consent of agenda and minutes with the changes that I've asked for.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, allergies.
So number 3 is public comment, items on agenda only. Would anybody like to speak? Please step up to the podium.
So my name is Ryan Kelly. I am resident here in Morton. And I just wanted to talk specifically about the changes to the dangerous dog ordinance or the potentially dangerous dog ordinance. My wife and I recently became intimately familiar with that through a situation where they were walking through the RV park here in June, and our dog Sapphire was attacked by the park caretaker's dog once it got off of its chain and ran after my wife, and my 8-year-old son was with him at the time. Luckily, she received a couple puncture wounds, but nothing super serious. But the reason that I wanted to bring this up was I read through what was on the agenda and the proposed changes. And specifically, one of the things that I have concern about is moving the appeals of the potentially dangerous dog from the city clerk to the police chief. So our experience with this was based off of our review of witness testimony and things that happened through that process. Nothing that occurred indicated anything that our pet had fought back at all, inflicted any bites, approached anyone in any sort of menacing manner or anything of the sort. Right. However, that was the determination made by the investigating officer and the police chief. And so my concern would be is the way this is written today, if you put that into place, it would essentially say that the police chief makes the determination and then the litigation lies with the same person who makes the determination. So it's essentially you have to change their mind. My recommendation would be is that perhaps that's something that the Public Safety Committee makes a determination on, if that's something where, you know, it comes to appeal for the potentially dangerous dog part. Totally understand the dangerous dog part of it going to municipal court. That makes sense. We got to visit with them later next month because of this whole saga that has happened and getting cited for our dog being off leash, which wasn't the case either. But I just wanted to make those suggestions that the council considers making those amendments to the ordinance as it's written, or the proposed ordinance.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak this evening? Moving on to number 4, council committee update. Anybody like?
I can start. We've got a few new businesses that have opened up in town as a planning and zoning committee. We've got Birdchild, which is a pretty great space. It's a boutique that is offering really cool goods, and they're also offering body work, and they're also offering massages, and they're also offering yoga. So it's a great addition to those of us who are focused on our health and our well-being. We've also got Cooper Tires is opening and has opened, and they are doing tires and repairs out of the old Van Cleve building, which is exciting. There are also talks with O'Reilly Auto Parts across the street at the former building right next to the Dollar General, which I believe was the old pharmacy. And I wanted to add a few more things. Oh, also skate shop opened. It's called Ripley's, and they are doing really cool stuff with all of the youth in the area. And they're really bringing together a lot of kids who need something to do outside of looking at screens and finding trouble to get into. Someone has commented to me that there needs to be new flags for Main Avenue because they're ripped. So I'll bring that to the attention of the council. First Wednesdays of every month at the, it says Luke building, but I think it's the Lyle building. Maybe you can help me with that. There's free meals the first Wednesday of every month. Is it the Luke building? Can you help me?
It's here at the Lyle.
It's the Lyle building, yeah. I think it auto-corrected on me. Family Circles from June 30th to August 11th is delivering food every Tuesday from 3:15 to 3:30 at the Methodist Church. Kids from 0 to 18-year-olds are getting food delivered to families out here, and that's by way of Kim Chambers and Melissa Comer, at Mossy Rock School District. And there are some people in town who have told me they have some fruit trees that are abundant, and anyone who wants fruit, please knock on your neighbor's door and ask them if it would be all right if you could peel some of their fruit off, because it is we're in that season. So other thing is kids, maybe, I don't know, they could get some free fruit. Thrive After 55 at the hospital was Saturday, June 20th, and I believe they're holding another one too, so you might check in with Arbor Health. So that's all I got on my end. I may be derelict in my duties by not remembering everything, so this is the first time, and hopefully you guys got what you needed to interact with your community.
I got finance and public admin, nothing this month. There's some things that we're working on that's coming up the next few months, but there's nothing to report this month.
Thank you.
Parks and Rec, quite a bit of stuff. One of the council people, a small packet, which is just a brief summary of the 2004 to 2024 plan for the parks. And this is for us to kind of look at. The first one is kind of what we with 2004, it's a little easier to look at. But if you guys will open it up to the second one there, this is for your consideration so we can talk about it. You'll see that the proposed changes that we made were to add a dozen or so RV spots. I think you've already, Mr. Sawyer, I think that was part of you guys did.
Pardon me?
You did the parks plan?
The pros plan, yes, sir.
And that included, this is what they came up with. They're gonna add 12 more spots.
I wasn't part of that particular one, no, sir.
Huh?
I was not part of that particular pros plan, no, sir.
Okay, all right. And then, if you guys look at for your consideration, The other thing we're talking about, it's basically to try and monetize the park, so the park can be, so we can not be donating to the campers that are coming in. I mean, it has to break even. And to do that, we need more spots. And when they attempted to get a company to run that for us, they said, it just won't work, there's just not enough spots. So they're talking about expanding, and this plan, proposed plans of 1994, 2004 to 2024 are available, I believe.
Online. It's online too for the pros plan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can get that. I mean, if you email me, I can send you copies. On council position for email. We've had a couple of meetings with FOMP, Peter and I were involved, as friends in the Morton Park, and if you folks are not involved in that, it's a big deal. I mean, Richard and Jennifer and the rest of the FOMP party have done a lot in attempting to make it a better place. The only thing we've gotten accomplished in the last 10 years really is to put in the kids' toys. But we really need to make some changes. The number one change that was requested through all the surveys, for you folks that have been here a while, you got your water bill 15 years ago, and you asked what was important. The most important thing was a paved walking way. We wanted access to that. So the outline plans that they were laid in front of the council before were for a paved walkway on the outside with exercise stations, with sitting areas, with areas to view the river. But additionally for the council people, I put some of the goals and strategies. The goal is really to keep Morton rural, accentuate the mountains, protect the river, to make sure that it's important for kids, but it's really, I'm an old guy. I need to get up and walk around too. I need benches to sit on. We need to make that a completely multi-use park. And the interesting thing is, whether you look at 1994, 04, or 2024, the space in the park has pretty much been delineated, spoken for, and voted for. So it seems like there's not much space to give there. There is one additional thing that I'm going to ask you, Mr. Sawyer, and I don't know the answer to this, but the council voted on a feasibility study for the low-income housing. And I don't know, I wasn't part of it after that. Do we know if there's been a feasibility study or?
I'm not on the Parks Committee. In terms of the planning stuff,
Yeah.
there, as far as I know, that fell flat. Luann might be able to add something to it because I feel like she does more of the day-to-day and she would know if there was any conversations with anyone for any low-income housing. I think we went from 55 and over low-income housing to just low-income housing across the board.
Correct, senior to everybody.
Well, yeah, from senior to everyone, yes. And from there, it just, I don't believe there's been any communications with any contractors to move the needle on that at all.
If you've been through Eatonville, you'll notice right past my friend's car lot there, they put all those long rectangular, and that was all really nice low-income apartments there. And so that was an area Richard brought up, and I thought it was a great idea. And I don't know who you would delegate that to, Mr. Mayor, but what committee you would address that with. But I'd like to see that get finished up, because that pretty much buttons it up. One other small thing. In the discussion with FOMP, originally the council passed a deal to allow them to put a sliding window or door in the Lyle building, and perhaps bring a independent contractor that would vend and sell out the window there, for which we would share the profit. After talking about that a little bit, having the cooking and all that stuff, we kind of moved towards, maybe Richard brought up and we talked to Peter and I, and for any of you guys, hopefully, it doesn't mean anything to me, I'm just a retired guy. But every one of these other people has jobs and stuff to do, but I mean, yesterday Peter came over and spent 3 hours at my house with Richard, and they both work, very busy. But for you guys who don't know, the pay for this job, they take home $90 a month. And hopefully we'll walk up to some of these people and thank them, because everybody on this council puts a lot of time into this. But anyway, we talked about the Scout Building, which is the old museum, being turned into a revenue-driving store, which would sell ice, firewood, pot, ice cream, things like that to the campers, which would generate some revenue for the city. But we're really focused on trying to bring these parks, because we've had 94, 04, and we've gone through the motions and we've passed them, we've voted to proceed with all these things, but it's kind of fell flat. And Peter and I have sworn a blood oath that we're gonna dig into it hard. So, some things to consider, if you have any interest in, you can reach out to me, Council District 4, it's 3, correct?
3, yeah.
Either one of us, more than happy to meet with any time, listen to your ideas. But realistically, the key thing is to try and finish all the things we talked about. I mean, there are things on there that probably aren't gonna happen, like a swimming pool, a covered bowling alley there, there's a lot of requests made, but the number 1, 2, and 3 were a paved walking path, exercise areas, open the view of the river up a little bit, put a fishing platform there so people aren't falling into the river and going through all that. So that's what we did. We had 2 font meetings and a couple of private meetings. We spent some time looking at this, and for the council people, I put some of those goals and numbers and so we can take a look at it, so next time maybe we can move forward with some stuff. So pretty busy for parks. Thank you, Peter, for your time. Appreciate it.
I think, Pastor Matt also,
Oh, yeah, I have that.
he would like to, be part of that and help out and
Yes, he does.
contribute to it.
And for you that don't know, and I know that Ron is gonna cover it in a little bit in an unorganized manner here. They're gonna have a field day, and I won't steal this away, her thunder, but it's a great event. Tug of war, sack races, giant soccer, cornhole, bocce ball, kickball. We wanna do it twice a month. They received a grant from Village Ministries that they want to pass along, and the Chamber of Commerce graciously offered to feed people and participate in that while they're having a party at the same time, right? Okay, so, but, if you don't know Pastor Matt, you want to get to meet him, he's a pretty nice guy, he involves himself with, doors always open, he's a great guy. But it's just a lot of stuff cooking for the parks, and so any input, any ideas, reach out to me, please.
For public safety, I sat at the park. I invited the community to come out and see me. I was blessed to have 3 beautiful faces come and see me. The concern really is going to be, code enforcement, which starts with a citizen complaint. We can't just go on a witch hunt. So that was the conversation that I had a lot, you know. If there's something that needs to be addressed, we have to take the proper steps. The first step is going to be this. After this is done, it is sent to the people who would address it, and then it moves forward from there. Another thing that was brought up was by Mr. Tim Pendergrass. Sorry for calling you beautiful, by the way. He wants to see some bicycle racks on Main Avenue.
Yes.
So that is something that we would like to see happen. I know that if there's a will, there's a way. So
I'm not allowed to say
I don't know how this works.
I don't really either.
No,
No,
This
so-
is, yeah, this is.
I just
the
talked to
time.
somebody from DOT about it, so we can talk.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about it after.
Okay, sorry.
So that's where I am, and a sidewalk, that's, yeah. It's going to be something that I'm going to try and make myself available. Doesn't have to be a formal meeting. Right now, I'm unemployed. So I have free time, and it's summer, so I have my kids. So swings, playing, that's where you'll find me.
I was just gonna say that you all know only 2 of us can get together at a time, so it's not a quorum. I was gone when we did that, but we wanted to cover parks and public safety, so we're gonna start having that, a deal where you can come in and sit down and talk to us, and that's something we want to do. So,
So that's all I have.
All right, thank you guys. So number 5 is discussion. Number 1, amend Morton City Ordinance 12.30.020, continuous use to allow city officials to conduct city business like a town hall meeting at the community center, with the contingency being no more than 2 counselors are to attend under OPMA rules. Number 2 is create an ordinance that does not require city council to call special meetings. If a city councilor wants to hold a town hall meeting at the community center, with the contingency being no more than 2 city councilors are to attend under OPMA rules. Decorum rules still applying at these meetings.
Discussion?
I think it's a great idea. I think the more we engage with our community, the more we can help our community grow. And regardless of what the topic is, hopefully it has something to do with either the ordinances or the resolutions or zoning or any of the things that we're all on in terms of our committee assignments. I think that it is positive for all of us to engage in civil dialogue. You know, I had one before. It was great. It worked out really well. I got a lot of good feedback. I brought my information to the council, and while nothing changed, at least there was an understanding that the community had reservations about the RV ordinance, and I made them clear. And I attempted to have another one. It did not pan out because we had not passed a resolution such as this, and I think it's great. I think the more we, like I said, engage with whether they're business owners or citizens or, you know, even children in our community, I think we should definitely be listening to what people have to say so that we can be better legislators. I'll leave it at that.
I'm all for using, you know, the building to do these town hall meetings, but we definitely make it clear that the reason yours didn't happen was because it came up in a question that who was gonna pay for that. And then you realized that there had never been anything passed in order for us to do that legally. So you pulled yourself from that, and that happened, and that's why you brought it here. So I'm all for using this building for that. I think these are very important. What do you mean about the 2 city councilors are only able to attend? Was that something?
Otherwise, we have quorum, and that is based on what Marissa asked that we address, because with something like this, while we're not we're not making any decisions, technically we're engaging with our community, it creates a level of question or it creates a level of illegitimacy that could happen due to the Open Public Meetings Act whenever there's 3 people at a meeting discussing city business. So I believe, and Marissa might help me out on this, is that say we wanted to talk about a skate park, and I came as a counselor as well as a board member for MASA, and you came as someone who's on the committee, and then Jeff came. I think at that point we just have to kibosh it or ask someone to leave. Hopefully not the host, but that.
I thought town hall meetings, we could all get together as long as
Can't we
we're
make it
posting it, right?
Can't we make that an open meeting so everybody can attend, because if we're gonna interact, it'd be nice if we could all be there, but if we announced it, published it, then it becomes an open meeting, Marissa, is that correct?
Yeah, you have to set it, so it would be.
Right, you can set an open hall.
3 of you calling it, or just in open session like this, just saying, this date, this council member wants to have a town hall, this is the purpose, and then you vote, and if you all agree and it's passed as a motion, then that would be how it would be done.
And it'd be nice to have us all there so we can interact all of us.
But in that case, we would all have to agree that we're going to be having a town hall meeting where every counselor and mayors and administrators can attend. That's what this particular ordinance or this resolution ordinance would. I think that's what we're trying to either circumvent or come up with a better way to do. Because as it sits, if Peter wanted to have, what are you again? What's your committee is?
Finance and
So if
public admin.
If you wanted to talk about finance and public admin, but you wanted all of us to be here to have dialogue about it, we would have to put it on the agenda, and then we'd have to have it later on. we'd have to vote on it, and then we'd have to have it later on whenever that happened.
Does that, Marissa, it has to be on the agenda, or should we have advertised it? I couldn't hear what you're saying.
If three council members agree, they can call a special meeting. So three of you agree, then you can have a special meeting, or you can just, in an open session, make a motion to set a open public meeting.
And I mean, if we did that, then it doesn't necessarily mean you have to attend.
Right,
But
exactly.
it would be an open meeting, so if two guys wanted to go, or three, or four, or five.
And I think clarity, so I spoke with Marissa about this at length, and I think that, in the city's best interest, if someone like just myself decides to have an open public meeting about, an ordinance, I can, with this particular ordinance that we're talking about here, I can have it without getting, approval from the council. Up to one other counselor per Marissa's request can join. Now, if we did not set that public meeting as a council, then only, as I understand from what Marissa told me, only two can attend, because that then, once another person shows up, we have quorum.
Right.
So,
Well, is there a difference between an open meeting
Well,
and a
that's
town hall meeting?
So my question is the real key is to advertise it as an open meeting, right? And to let people know that it's gonna be an open meeting to the public. So if we just say, you can announce that, open meeting to the public, and I would like to find a way for us all to attend, I guess. That would be my concern, not a
If we
concern,
want,
but I
yeah,
would
if we
like
want to, yeah, if we want to, I don't wanna limit.
No.
If multiple people wanna go, I don't wanna limit that just to two people and tell one person to leave.
and this is only based on, what the city attorney told me, in that, like, it is in the city's best interest to not have town hall meetings with more than two of the counselors. And Marissa, will you, give us some clarity on that, please?
So a public meeting, I'm just trying to make sure I find that full definition, of course, my phone's not gonna find it. But it's essentially anytime that there could be action taken by the council, so anytime there's more, you have a quorum, so three or more, in action, but action, the state defines is much more broad than what you think. You're thinking action, oh, motion, you know, you guys pass it, no, it's, transaction of the official business of a public agency by a governing body, including but not limited to receipt of public testimony. So anytime someone makes a public comment, automatically you're now in a public meeting. Deliberations, discussions, considerations, reviews, evaluations, and final action, which means a vote. So it just having your people here from your community making comment is taking testimony, and that's considered action.
And Jeff, I agree with you. I would love to have everyone at the table. You know, I really would. I think that it's a more rounded conversation.
Yeah.
You know, I think it doesn't make sense to not allow other counselors. So,
These are what is, Marissa, can you use your clever little mind to tell us if there's a way to set this up so we can, without having to be in full session, set up an open meeting, we can all do.
There would be the three council members, or calling it, or the mayor can call a special meeting.
So any three council members.
Any three council members.
yeah, once you have quorum, but if I'm correct, right, like,
No, that's any three members before, just to call your special meeting. You need the three.
so we could have an email and say, we would like to call a special meeting and get quorum.
Yes. Unless you're asking.
My question is,
Can you rephrase?
okay, so say I send an email, I'm basically creating an open public meeting as soon as I send an email to, you know,
I would send the email to Luann that says, myself, council, and these other two council members are calling a special meeting.
okay,
And, she can confirm that, or the other two council members can also email Luann, because she would be the person in charge of doing the publication for that open public meeting. To go back to your question, what's the difference between, open public meeting and the, town hall? That was what we ran into, is you don't have anything on there that says, so any of you can do a town hall, and the community is invited, but with how your code is written, you have to pay for the use of the building, everybody has to pay, and it has to be, you don't get any special privileges for being on council. So that's where that ran into that issue. Another concern is, well, if you're having it at the coffee shop and then everybody shows up and now you have a quorum and it hasn't been noticed, you have an issue. But if you're there and you're not talking city business, let's say, something horrible happens and you all have to be at a funeral together, that's not a quorum. So it's just when you're talking and discussing about city business, which is what your town hall would be.
Town hall would, falls under.
I don't think anybody would object. I mean, I think it'd be pretty easy to find 3 people who would agree to any council action, a meeting.
So with that said, do we want to still move forward with the idea of potentially saying, okay, and I'll read this out loud here. The Morton City Ordinance 1230-020 for continuous use to allow city officials to conduct city business like a town hall meeting at community center with contingency being no more than 2 counselors to attend. Do we want to amend that, or do we want to say everything stays as it is, and if you are going to hold a town hall meeting in this building, you're going to need to get council approval? This is a question. Does anything change?
What about the money part of it?
Well, if council's calling a meeting, if they're
Okay.
building.
I mean, I
But the
think
council
that's-
does have to call a meeting.
Yeah, so, but I mean, again, I don't think you have a problem getting 3 people to agree to about anything. You might have to adjust the date. Well, we don't agree on everything, but in terms of meeting that, having a meeting and getting people together, chit chatting, I mean,
I tried and it didn't work. Granted, I did not send all of you guys an email asking for your permission, but I was also basing that on advice that I got from the attorney, so.
okay. Well, like you said, send it to Luann, and that was, Luann can forward it out to us and we can respond to it. Can you imagine a situation you would disagree with that, Peter? Having a meeting?
No, I'm trying to wrap my head around.
Question is, do we wanna can we vote to waive the fees for it?
If we have a council, if we set a special
Oh, yeah,
meeting,
yeah.
we
Yeah.
do not have to
Yeah.
waive it.
Non-critical.
But if we do not get full council approval, you only get 2 people, then can this building still be used?
Well, it only needs to be 3.
Okay, so,
Okay.
yeah, say only 2 people say it's cool. Then this is asking, is the building usable by city officials for city business, even if only 2 councilors?
As it reads now, you'd have to get council approval to waive the fee. Not supposed to, city council members cannot get a benefit from.
But that is an ordinance, right? And as legislators, we can change that ordinance.
The getting a, benefit for being on the council, that's.
Not that, but in discussions about using this building, a public building, for city use, like it says here. Town hall meetings.
So a town hall meeting isn't considered a city use, correct? I know there's a weird area in
Yeah,
there.
it's something I feel comfortable answering
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
So might it make sense to have Marissa review this and see if she can come up with an answer for the next meeting?
I mean, we spoke early last month, so I mean, there's definitely been time. I'm by no means trying to kibosh the idea
No.
of further investigation, but again, that costs the city money. So, or we can amend the ordinance.
My concern would be if 3 people agreed, then only 2 showed up, would that become an issue?
Yeah, that's something I didn't take into consideration, that didn't occur to me when we discussed this. I mean, obviously, if 3 people can't agree to it, then, and they're not available, then there's only 2 that are available, and
the most part, it's the use of the public building. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to, is the use of structures that the city owns to conduct city business.
Where do other cities do their town hall meetings if they wanna have a town hall meeting?
I don't have any others that typically do that.
Okay. You know any other cities where they do town hall meetings?
Just the big ones, you know?
Yeah.
Just the larger ones, and, you know, they have a considerably more robust, ordinance schedule, so,
I mean, they're important, and I believe that we should be able to use this for a meeting.
I mean, how do you feel like yours went as this, you know, unsanctioned, come talk to your counselor kind of thing?
Kind of what I expected.
Do you feel like you would have had a better turnout if you had held it here and it felt like a little more formal?
I wanted to see people not formal, so if I wanted to do it, I would do the things I had to do. I feel like when it's public safety and what I was hoping to hear would have not been stuff that they wanted to share in front of people. And I say that as I'm hoping to hear something terrible, like people are getting murdered, but that's not the case at all. There will be a time that I think a town hall would be great for public safety. If there's something that we need to take a vote on or address, I don't think we're there yet. I'm not saying I'm opposed to having town halls.
So we're still to square one here. What are we thinking? Do we want to leave the ordinance how it sits? I'm not sure how I became chair of this conversation, but I'm down to come to a resolution here. Because as it sits, the only way for a town meeting to happen in this building, the city building, is to get confirmation from 3 people and going through Luann and making sure there's consensus on whether or not we can go forward with it. Otherwise, we amend the ordinance and say any city business by a city official can happen in a city building.
I think there's a question about that, about if you're gonna do a town hall, if we are allowed to use it or not without.
Obviously, yeah, just,
Yeah.
I got the kibosh, so. That's what we're discussing now, I feel like. Can we
Yeah.
come to an answer here?
Cause wouldn't that be
Not understanding it fully legally. I mean, I'm
more-
for it. I'm for you using it for city business or a town hall meeting, 100%. But is that legal to do? You know.
I agree, and that's the question I'm bringing from the council.
And so if you wanted to do a town hall and say we didn't agree on this, who's paying for that? You were gonna have to pay for that?
Well, I
out of
backed
your
out, I
pocket?
didn't pay for
Yeah.
it, so yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect you to either, you know. I mean,
Yeah,
So when you did the park deal and the RV deal, 2 deals, where did you do it?
right here. So there is
Was one at
precedent.
the Roxy, was one of them at the Roxy?
You're talking about the skate park thing?
Yeah.
That was
No, just the skate
that was an opening party for Massa and to introduce the community to what the nonprofit was doing. So it's not, I didn't do that under the guise of being a counselor. But I think that we don't have the information that we need to answer this question.
That's why I said maybe table it.
Yeah.
And get an opinion of how to make it work. Ideally, I'd really just like everybody to be able to come. It's just, as you know, and as Peter and I know, and there's so many things we talk about, we just can't. We walk up to each other and go, why? I mean, because we can't talk to somebody, we talk to somebody else, or there's an email, and it's rather stifling. So to get us all together and then a chance where we can talk and people together would be my.
So everyone's in agreement, town halls are great. What we're not in agreement, I think, is that like whether or not we can use this building should someone decide that they don't think it's appropriate or whatever to have that conversation here. I think we're kind of going in circles, and I think that the more we go in circles, the answers are kind of answering themselves.
What if a person just pays for it? Then what does it become?
Well, if there's three people here, I mean, technically this is a question for the attorney, but like if there's three counselors here, it's an open public meeting and it had to be posted or noticed.
Even if I'm not participating, like say I just sit in the audience.
I know,
and listen.
I feel like, I feel like, yeah, I asked that too, and like, what if they just sit there and, mum's the word, but.
Is the mayor part of the council when it comes to that?
No, but you can call a special meeting, we can ask you to do it, so. We're kind of going around our elbow to get to our
When you called your meetings, how many people came? I'm just curious. I just.
30,
Yeah,
Okay.
quite a bit.
yeah.
So, if it really was there might be an alternative. Well, I'd rather try to solve it so we can all get together. If we can't,
I think the question too is that like, I don't believe that we should be making decisions based on that town hall meeting. The town hall meeting is like, tell me what your concerns are as a citizen regarding this particular issue, or let me help educate you as to what I know around this certain issue, and then let's have dialogue. Whereas with these things, we make motions and we're just gonna say like, hey, let's make a motion to do X, Y, and Z. Well, I don't think that is what the intent, I never thought of that as the intent of this. Yeah, this is dialoguing, yeah,
it's just
fellowship.
shared. Yeah.
But from her description and definitions of action,
Right,
it sounds like
Right.
as soon as you
It's-
get public participation, it falls
exactly,
into that.
exactly. So we gotta tread lightly.
So let me just look at some of the legalities of that, make sure we're not breaking any RCWs or anything on public.
Can I make a motion to table it then until next meeting, let Marissa work on it?
I think this is just discussion. I don't know if this is actually actionable.
It isn't
Okay,
per se,
all right,
but
very good.
just so
Definitely
we
come
can get.
back to it, so.
Okay, so we're gonna move forward then?
Yep.
So number 6, under new business, resolution 561, amend resolution 527, handling citizen complaints.
Yeah,
So the only change on that was the original resolution states that the complaints are to be photocopied and put in all the council's boxes. The change on this is that they'll just be forwarded via email to all the council members. That's the only change.
All complaints that come in the city.
Yeah, instead of me photocopying and putting it in your boxes, which some of you, I don't wanna, not single anybody out, but some of you got catalogs in there, so. This way they'll just be emailed to you all, so you'll get them quicker, cause you're gonna get them as soon as I do. Instead of me photocopying and putting them in your box. That's the only change.
I did have a question about section 3 of the resolution 527. And it says follow-up to a complaint will be in writing to the complainant. And I was wondering who is going to be following up, and when should they expect the complaint to be at least acknowledged?
I follow up on all of them.
So you're the can that wording go in there that you are the person who there will be following up, or does that need to be addressed? And then I guess the other thing too is
27 was the whole one.
yeah, I want to say it's like 97 or 94.
Like at 97.
And then so yeah, so that's you cleared that up. As for when, I'm assuming, is it same PDR type thing, 5 days, or is it like?
I try to respond, by, depending on what time I get it, the next day, 2 days later.
Yeah,
the max,
it seems
I
like
try to-
reasonable time.
And then if there's, sometimes there's, gonna be time where it's gonna take me longer to, like say we have some properties around town. One of them took me 3 weeks to finally figure out who the real owner was before we could do anything, so. I give an update, a log of that, but, for the most part, a couple of days.
That sounds great. I mean, perhaps that goes in here. I would say, maybe give yourself a larger window in case, your caseload is higher. But again, that's up to you. And the other thing too is all oral responses or personal contact shall be evidenced by written documentation of the action taken. And I'm just wondering, is this verified at all, or is this just?
What I do, unless, you know, is I have one of either Donna or Glenn listen when I make the phone call
Mm-hmm,
and tell someone their answer.
I see,
And then I write it on that complaint form, the date, the time I spoke with them, and then who heard me tell them what.
I see,
And they initial it too, that way somebody can't come back and say, no, you never called me.
I see. So it's more along the lines of, yes, I got a response and we had dialogue about it versus the minutia of it. Okay,
Most people want an email response anyway, which is much better, I think, all the way around.
I
But
agree.
some people want to call,
So when a complaint comes in, the proper channel goes to you first.
correct?
Does not come to city council,
Nope.
and we are not dealing with those complaints, correct? Until it gets brought onto the agenda at a city council.
If, a lot of times it just goes to the department head, it'll depend, that's a very gray area, it depends on what the complaint is.
Okay.
You know, if somebody calls or says, you know, the neighbor's grass is 5 foot high.
Sure.
You know, we'll just send them a letter first off, if it's a first offense, and say, you know, you really need to cut your lawn down, and, you know, and then council doesn't have to react. If we have other issues where we're gonna have to force things, then,
Okay. I just wanted to understand the proper channel on how things come into the city and where it goes first.
So sort of, what you'd like to see in there is that it's directed to the city clerk. You'd like that.
Yeah, just making it clear who is the complainant needs to be addressed to. And then when they should expect a response. It's as close to PDR as you're gonna get, but again, I don't want you to feel like, you know, this is, you know, a number one priority if we're in the middle of an audit or something like that, right? So,
yeah.
We do have a statement that the original, section 3, the original document shall be filed with the city clerk. But what you want to see is that in addition to city.
it was just in section 3,
respond-
yeah, I just wanted to get clarity on that as to like the whom and the when.
Okay.
And my question's been answered, so, thank you. I think,
Just need to make a motion to accept.
You wanna table it or
Sorry.
until that gets put on?
Table it until,
this particular thing,
Until this stuff's been added?
great question, I mean, I guess, this is the situation, right, like, when can you address this? Is 30 days,
Oh, yeah.
yeah? I mean, we're basically saying, follow the complaint will be written to the complainant, you know, to clerk, to be addressed in X number of days. And I guess you've answered the question, at least for me, at least for the verification, so at least that's how you guys have done it as standard operating procedure. It's clear to me, I will accept this as it sits.
so no changes, just be clear.
You've made your answer clear to me, yes, I'm okay with this clarification.
I make a motion that we accept it.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 2 is ordinance 2026-06, amend NMC 6.08, dangerous dog.
I read through all this and there was some small change that we made that we caught on a wording error, that got fixed in this now. The Kellys have a good point. I do like your point about them having to go to the chief when the police are the one making the determination. Now, I know this comes back on you, the Luann, because that's where it goes, but what other options would be on the table if we didn't have that matter go to the police chief if they were fighting it? Are you the only option, or the city clerk?
I have some options, but, you know, if you have an answer, I'll
I'd
add
love
to
hear
it.
your options.
All right, so, with respect to that, right now, we have an interlocal agreement with the Napavine Court. So potentially they could act as the, legislator in that, or the judicial in that. Whereas, we could also, employ a hearing examiner. But I'm with the Kellys and, my fellow councilman here that I'm not sure that it's in the best interest to have the police both initiate and adjudicate with respect to a dangerous dog. So there is one other thing, and it's called the DAD board, and that is a dangerous animals designation board, and they are in Lewis County. And so that is a group of citizens that says, with I think a group of 3 citizens who these kind of things exclusively go through. I'm not sure if we have an interlocal agreement with Lewis County with respect to that, but perhaps we could initiate that.
The dangerous dog one is already going to Napa, correct? It's just the potentially dangerous dog. From a finance point of view, the potentially dangerous one, I would like to see maybe the council do, or maybe a board or something. If we go to Napa Court, it costs money. You know, every time we go to Napa, we're gonna be paying out more money. Maybe if we just had a couple of citizens, like the safety committee people or something, if they could appeal to them, then we're not forking out a lot of money.
That was one of my, and that was the initial thing too, but I just did a little bit more of a deep dive on it, and knowing that there's already an existing council committee that addresses that, that we could potentially piggyback off of. Again,
I don't believe the county allows for cities to use their board. So you have to create your own, because my understanding is it's only those in the unincorporated areas. I don't believe that Chehalis or Centralia participates, and I know my other clients have talked about it and have been told no previously. So this ordinance would need to be significantly changed to create a board for that purpose. And this, I mean, it was written, it's pretty standard that the chief of police is the one that does the appeals on that, but usually there's an animal control officer that's separate, and that did not occur to me when I was looking at that, because that would be different if you had another person that does it, makes a decision, and then it's appealed to the chief, but here it would be.
So if the chief though issues a citation or a ticket or any sort of criminal involvement, would it automatically then go to court for that?
That would be separate, so you could, and for dangerous dogs, they're controlled by statute, so they're different.
Okay.
That's the legislature, that's not something that we can change it a little bit, but potentially dangerous dogs are completely left up to the council, how those are regulated. I believe this in here, there's like no fee, like if it's potentially dangerous, so it's just like notated essentially, and probably the police department's system. But if that's something that you want as a board or something, that's something that can be drafted. It can be done, it just won't be done tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Can we hear from you? Yes, sir.
Well, I think that a couple things. Number one, I am also a working chief, so it will also be me that is issuing these citations and doing these investigations. So it would be kind of tough to have me issuing a citation for that and then for the hearing to come back to me. I mean, that kind of creates a little bit of gray area. Also, Luann touched on it, finances. If we do move forward and it costs money, what budget is that gonna come out of? Whose budget, or that's gonna bring into another question. As it stands right now, I know Marissa stated something about the Napa Valley Court. Dog at large, not registering dogs, those will just be sent as an infraction, which can be handled at the Napa Valley Court. In the case of like dog bite, potentially dangerous dog, we write a report and then we send it to the attorney's office. That's the process as it stands now.
I know the dangerous dog declarations, those are slightly different than potentially. The dangerous dog declaration does require a meeting with the chief of police before they declare a dangerous dog. So I think part of it, that was my thought as well, it's similar, but it's not the same process. There are some cities that just say the mayor is the person that does the appeal, so it could be appealed to the mayor, that's another option. I'm trying to think of giving you as many solutions for the same problem.
Would it be reasonable just to have a public safety committee, either two people on the committee? That way, two people, you can't be accused of taking scare your friend, if it's, you know, just one person that leads to you may make a decision, you may question the decision, but if there's two people, the public safety committee would be.
You have to, yeah, no, that would be fine. The public safety committee can be used. And it would be the same process that Luann did, like she met with them, she listened to their side of the story, and then made the decision. It has to be a written decision, and it has to be based in facts and law. And it can be done that way too, you can just update it to say that. So you tell me what you want, and I can tell you whether it's possible.
So as it sits now, it goes to Napa Vine if it is not a potentially dangerous dog, but a dangerous dog that has already done the thing.
Yeah, so there are criminal citations, so the dog attacks someone. There's usually a criminal citation, and I cannot for the life of me think of what that would be under, but then there is the dog attacks someone, it draws blood, and now the chief of police sends a notice, and then they have a meeting with the people that own the dog, and it's declared dangerous. And then there's the potentially dangerous, which is not from statute. That's completely your own thing. With the dangerous dog is if the chief of police says it is dangerous and declaring it dangerous, they can appeal that to Napa Vine. There's a fee, they have to pay a filing fee, and that's by statute. So that's not anything to do with that. But it wouldn't go to municipal court unless they appealed it. Now, if it's a criminal citation, or if it's like a dog at large, or failure to register your dog, that would be an Napa Vine as an infraction. And the infractions, they don't get, there's no attorneys, like, I mean, I can be involved sometimes, but usually it's just pro se. Whereas if it's a criminal citation, they have a right to counsel, or they pay for their own attorney.
So we're just talking about potentialities.
And usually the potentially is only included, so if another incident happens, then they're declared dangerous, because that's two issues of a potentially dangerous.
I mean, if we can utilize the public safety committee, I'm good with that, if that's okay to do. You guys good with that?
Make a motion to.
Yeah, I make a motion to change that wording about potentially dangerous, where it would be, brought to, the public safety committee instead of chief of police.
I'll second that.
And that would be section 3, 6.08.030, subsection E, subsection 2. Excuse me, 1. My bad.
Rick, we have a motion to second.
All in favor?
No, it's section E, number 1, on
Page 4,
number 1. Change that to.
hearing before the police chief to, I guess, a hearing before the safety council.
Safety committee.
Sorry, safety committee.
And they would just put that through the city hall, and then you would notify us that there's this potentially dangerous situation, and set it up from there, Luann? So you'd have a little bit of legwork to still do?
And is that a special meeting?
No, because it would be two council.
It's quasi judicial.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion and a second, right?
All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Wait, who started it?
I did,
Who was second?
Jeff did.
Okay, number 3 under new business is Rhonda Cornwell, reallocate tourism funds. Rhonda? How are you tonight?
You bet, I may not be able to get ahold of you. My name is Rhonda Cornwell, and I'm the president of the East West County Chamber of Commerce. As many of you know, we've been working diligently to reestablish this chamber, and we are fortunate to have outstanding board of directors, several of whom are here this evening. Unfortunately, we were not able to host the 4th of July picnic as originally planned due to limited funding and shortage of volunteers. The city of Morton graciously donated $1,200 towards the rental of porta potties for this event. Tonight, we're asking whether those funds should be returned, or with the city's permission, reallocate toward the community field day. As Jeff was telling us, the chamber wants to remain fully transparent and responsible in how any funds entrusted to us are used. We are partnering with the Morton Community Bible Church and the Pastor's Pantry to host this event. Hot dogs, chips, and drinks will be provided free of charge. And there will be old-fashioned games for families and community members to enjoy. We'll have somewhere in the approximately of 750 to 1,000 hot dogs, so we have plenty for everybody to eat. The event will be open to everyone at no cost, with a nudity in the park to follow. With the city commission, we would like to use the donated funds for further costs of hosting the
Thank you.
The field day is scheduled for August 29th from 5 to 1 p.m. with a movie to follow. We believe this will be a fun and meaningful event that brings the community together. And our chamber members are passing out flyers. And we are prepared to return the check, or if you guys want to make a decision on it.